What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi and Sheets. We're going to be talking about the RBC Canadian Open in Toronto. The interesting thing about this one, before I jump into it, one, I know people like to play the Canadians more. I am one of them. I'm going to be playing the Canadians because this is a course that nobody else, we've never had on a tour event. This is not the same course as last year when McIntyre won it, who I happen to like this week, but that's a separate part of the conversation. And it's nice when we get a course that's new, that's going to be a birdie fest. I don't love birdie fest in general, but I have a good idea of how to approach this one, which is going to be attacking a lot more of these young players. A lot of the guys who just hit the ball a mile, who you can make the 40 birdies in a week or whatever. And I think there's some really good options that are not exactly household names, not just the Canadians, but a lot of these other guys too. So I'm going to be playing a very, very, very young golfers. We got Luke Clanton making his first official pro start, although he's going to be incredibly popular. So it's kind of an interesting tournament. Sheets, any overall before we get into?
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you want to join me in fading all the Canadians.
You always want to do it, but every time it never works. Like
I know.
And also they're the only ones who've played this golf course before. You got Nick Taylor from Toronto at low ownership. What are we doing here?
That's true.
So that's where I'm at least.
The other thing is that we'll get to some pretty wild ownership projections, which we're going to get to a little later. I'm going to tighten mine own up. I think Sabersom's kind of lost its mind in a couple of spots. I'm sure they'll fix it, but we'll get there. Okay, so Birdie Fest sounds fair enough, but yet still, I mean, you got Rory pretty much stands out, I guess. So above 10K, Rory and Connors would be my two favorites, I suppose, and then I can't argue against Aberg either, So I think all three of them look pretty good. I don't think you could play two of them. But yeah, I have no problem playing one of these three.
Yeah, I've been saying to joking with Kenny and saying that Oberg can win if there's a tournament where nobody's played at before, I would make him the favorite. Like that, that was and now he's back to, at least he had a great Sunday. I can't say he's back to playing his best, but he's sort of at least looked like him, a little more like himself recently. All right, I'm reading things in my Discord side, which I shouldn't be doing, but I'm probably going to be underweight on Rory just because everyone's going to play him. I don't feel like it's even a motivational issue because I feel like with Scotty winning everything now that, especially the ones he's missed, I think he is going to want to go out there and take over. And there also should be a pretty electric crowd in Canada, like there always is, which is probably going to be Canadian focused and Rory focused. So yeah, I'll have exposure to all these guys, but at the moment, the only one I'm over the field on Oberg and Connors, under the field on Rory at the moment. Which,
well, again, to put to put all of these everything in perspective here, we have the U.S. Open coming up next week, right?
Yep.
So you might hear some narratives that people might be looking ahead, that maybe Rory might be looking ahead to this, but as you kind of mentioned, with what Scotty is doing. There is no looking ahead. If there's a tournament he's not in, you better win it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know when you're going to get another chance. Yeah, Connors. It is a full cut event, so it's harder to play stars and scrubs. So that'll be it's less necessary to play stars and scrubs. So I guess I could make the argument to fade Rory. I could make the argument to fade Connors. I could make the argument to even fade Aberg and do a little bit more balance, but I like so many of these 7Ks that I think I'm gonna not worry too much about that.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but also I think you can argue that you could still skip them and play the 7Ks with the 9Ks. I think that wouldn't be the worst thing because we're gonna have low ownership in this 9K range for the most part. This can't be right. These numbers I'm looking at. Okay, I'll guess trust in this. I guess I'll start off the 9K range because I've got some takes here, but love Luke Clanton. Thought that he was going to be mega chalk, maybe because he's expensive. He's not going to be. He's been the second. I think he's behind Rory only if you take his last 36 rounds. I heard that from our shout out to Rick Rungood. But I do like Clanton a ton at 9K flat. He's my highest owned player in this range. followed by Keith Mitchell. Oh, sorry, followed by Taylor Pendrith, Keith Mitchell, and Sam Burns. I like all of those guys quite a bit, and I'll be pretty content to get overweight them. The one I'm struggling to figure out what to do with is Sung Jae, because I've seen good and bad, and I don't know what to make of it. So but that's where I'm at right now. Clanton, Pendrith, and Burns as my favorites in this range.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. So I'm not at least projection wise, I'm not getting Clanton at all. So we'll see how it works out. I have Lowry and Burns, the top guys in the 9K range, and then Im, and then like Pendrith. So I'm gonna have to scroll to get to Clanton. So we'll see. But it definitely fits what you're saying about, you know, playing these younger guys in these types of events. So you know, no fear. They don't give a crap. You know,
at the moment he's my highest owned player of any kind, which is weird. But I just am surprised that the ownership's not higher on him. I really thought he would be like steamed, and I still have a feeling this ownership doesn't feel right to me. Something about this ownerships just don't feel right all across the board, I'll say, actually. Like, it just all looks a little strange. All right, down in the 8K sheets, what are you looking at here?
The 8K is where I have the black hole. Because I mentioned that like a bunch of these 7Ks. So usually when that's the case, the 8Ks is going to be the black hole, and that's kind of where I am right now. Like my top rated guy that's between, you know, 8,100, 8,500 is not till like my 17th best golfer. You know what I mean? So that's rare. So, and what those would be are Noren, Olsen. Those are like my two top guys there. And then after that would be paying down a little more, Eric Cole and Matt Wallace. So I'm probably going to be underweight. Well, I don't say underweight because maybe nobody will play them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm getting to this type of conclusion, probably others are as well. But I'm not finding 8Ks in the projections all that much.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you a little bit, and I think that's going to be a little bit where the field is. I've got a couple of 10%ers like Chris Gotterup. Again, I want guys who can really hit it. The problem I have with Eric Cole is I like him as a golfer. He's probably a better golfer than, you know, some of the guys priced ahead of him. But this is like, it seems like the worst type of course for him. So I don't really see. I don't know why I even got as much as I did. So I'll probably lower that. Actually, I don't know if I'll lower it. I'll see what happens once we're done. But I like Højgaard. I have 10%. I got her up 10%. 10% Kitayama. 10% Noren. 10% Olsen. Nothing special. Those are the guys who just sort of are like almost like filler pieces. I didn't feel really strongly about any of them, except I do like getting a little bit of the Højgaard. Just I think the talent's there, and I do think that the Gotterup, this is more a course that he should play well at, theoretically. All right, down in the 75 to 7,900 sheets, what do you have here? I got some pretty heavy ownerships here on a couple guys.
Yeah, so I don't understand it at all. So like, for example, like SaberSim has Cameron Young at like 40% owned or something like that, like 36% ownership. I literally don't see where that's coming from, like, at all. Not to mention, I mean, even if you look at their, and not to trash SaberSim, obviously, but you look at their projections, they have Cameron Young and Alex Smalley with the exact same projection at like the exact same price, and they have one of them 35% owned, the other 20. You know what I mean? Like something is up. So I'm not too interested in that ownership projection. I actually have Cameron Young at more like 15%. We'll just see where it ends up. But I do have a bunch in here. So I do like Alex Smalley. I do like Rio, Hitsisiano, whoever.
Yeah.
Cam Young, I do like. At lower ownership, I got others, though. Like I got Taylor Moore at lower ownership. I have our hero from a couple of weeks ago, the Matty Schmidt, at lower ownership. I have Ryan Fox at lower ownership. So maybe Ryan Fox isn't that off the board, but I like all those guys. I don't understand the Cam Young ownership projection. I do like him, but I think that's what you got to do. I think you got to play a bunch of these guys and shuffle them.
Yeah, I'm not getting to. I see the ownership. Maybe that's also why I'm content not to have much of Cam Young. I'll have a little bit, but I actually thought his and Smalley's projections. I sort of agreed that it was weird, but also I thought Smalley's ownership also looked high. Give me Hisatsune over both of them. That's my take. I don't have like again. I have the guys I have really a strong take on are John Kiefer. He's one of my highest owned players as well. So it fits exactly what I was
And
saying.
who was that guy? That was the DP World guy, or the
no, that's the Corn Ferry.
Corn Ferry guy, right?
Yeah. So I'm in on the Kiefer. I'm in on the one who I really feel like this tournament could suit him would be Jake Knapp. I mean, this guy has won and contended in these tournaments where you need to shoot a million under, and you can sort of hit it. You got wide fairways. I think Jake Knapp is a really good play. So Kiefer and Knapp are clearly far and away my favorites, with Hisatsune being next. And then I always end up with the Thomas Dietrich, and I'm not gonna. I'll take what it gives me, because I think Thomas Dietrich is extremely talented and on the verge of. I don't know if he hasn't already broken out. I guess he has broken out, but that's all. That's my 2 cents there. Gary Woodland's played a little better than people think, but this is not. I don't want to play him in a birdie fest. I want to play him on something tough. And yeah, Matty Schmidt, I got exactly 10%, 10.2%. All right, 7K to 7,400 Sheets. What do you got here?
Not as much as the 75 to 79, but I'll rate my guys here. So Vince Whaley, I have him as a top 10, top 11 value. I like that. And I'll tell you what's very thematic actually about my exposures and who I like here is that it doesn't seem to pay a lot of respect for the course fit. In other words, like you're mentioning that like you want guys that could take chances at birdie fest and stuff, but the guys I'm actually getting to, like you're saying, don't exactly fit that profile. So I have to kind of see what I'm going to do here. Like,
well, also, I mean, remember my research. I did a bunch of it, but it's. I still have like. There's still more I have to do. That's what I understood from everything I've looked at.
Yeah, no, and so like for example, like Doug Gim, I have him, but he's not. I mean,
yeah, but nobody, but he can shoot. He can shoot it. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's not like a. You don't. I'm not saying it has to be like a bomber. I just thought the guys who are going to go out there and just like, I'm giving an edge to those guys. That doesn't mean these other guys aren't good plays.
Right. So those are, and like even like it's so funny, like the Matty Schmidt. All I remember from the Matty Schmidt, I don't even know how I think about this, but remember like a couple of weeks ago where he was in contention to win, like sort of, but he had like this tough bunker shot. Instead of like trying to go for like kind of a miracle shot that if he pulled it off, he had a chance to actually win. He completely like bailed out, like to the other. He went from bunker almost to bunker to basically lock down second place. It was a weird thing to see, really. It was probably if you put it in a computer and AI, probably the right move, the way prize pools distribute, but you don't usually see golfers like do that, like you don't usually see people like, well, you know what, according to the math, I probably should just be trying to lock up second. Usually see people like try to go for the wins there. I don't know. I found that whole thing kind of curious.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's what I got in the 70 to 7,400 range.
Yeah, I don't have and by the way, I actually have a little bit of Gim, so I'm not against the Gim play. I'm not like super into it either. He's going to be the highest owned, I think, in that range. I really like a few plays. I like Rico Hui.
Yep.
I like Ricky Castillo. I think Ricky Castillo is like this might be one I make a big stand on, because I like this kid. I think he's really good. And I want to say I've stuck by my, hey, what are we doing with these regular, like the recency bias? We keep seeing like, oh, we can't play Victor Hovland because he's not in form, a few weeks back, and he just missed the cut, and then he comes and he wins the tournament.
Right.
I'm just going to point out Tom Kim. There's a very similar world where Tom Kim is the other 10K golfer here. He's 7,300.
Oh man, it's been so long, Bobby.
But he's 23 years old. How long could it have been?
No, I meant it just seems
like
as though I think that we overstated him like that. When was it 2 years ago? He had a couple of really good tournaments.
No, it wasn't just a couple. No. He's been talked about for years and years and years. Okay. This has been a thing since he was young. He has a real pedigree. And by the way, as bad as all this is, it's not like he's like missing cut. He's missed a couple. He hasn't missed like, you know, a bunch of them. He even made a top, you know, he has 2 top 10s on this year's official, I guess, well, one was from last year. So it's not like he's been like just dreadful. Now, again, I'm just throwing it out there because this is a weaker field and he's 7,300. I'm not, if he was 8,500, I would let it go. But I think he's also not a full on bomber. He doesn't fit what I was saying either. But I just think that he's a better golfer than this. And I don't think I don't know. That's my take anyway. The one who I thought I think is a great play, and I might just make a big stand on is Carl Phillips. I don't know. Carl Phillips is another one of these young guys who's again can do some things. I like him at 7,100. And that's pretty much it for me from this range. I'm again not totally done with my research. I'll update everybody and say on our site when we get there. And but yeah, I think I really feel like those other plays could come in handy. I just think it's too, especially that I don't know. It just feels weird to me. Like I feel like if Tom Kim wins, we're all going to feel like idiots. And I feel like he easily could have been 10K. It's been a while since he had a top finish. But he's also, I mean, this is an easier tournament and a different course than anybody's played on before. I don't know. Maybe I've just sold myself a little too much on it.
The other thing I would mention before we leave this range is that leave the 7Ks about this Cameron Young business. If he in fact becomes like really popular for some reason, I just want to share. You talk about narratives and motivations and stuff like that. So I shout out to Below. He pointed me to this something that happened. It was specific to Max Homa. But like Max Homa apparently just kind of lost his mind again. Like he fired his caddy again. And then what happened was he was trying to qualify for the U.S. Open, and he needed basically the 2-putt from 25 feet to qualify, and he bricked the putt, leaving him in a 5-way playoff for a U.S. Open spot, which happened to have been won by the aforementioned Cameron Young. So if you want to go play Cam Young at ownership, like with that, you know what I mean? Like this is a perfect opportunity for him to mail this one in. You know what I mean? Like he's, first of all, you talk about a guy who's might not be the greatest motivated player anyway. I mean, if you end up with like serious ownership on a guy who worked so hard to qualify for the U.S. Open, which is a week away, and then you're going to have him go off to freaking Canada, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know about that. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, so I'll throw that into the hopper.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting way of looking at it. Okay. All right.
Are there any 6Ks here? I mean,
yeah. Or do we need him? Is I guess the question. I have a strong take on one. Do you have any?
Yeah, my top rated guy is like 51st on my list, which is pretty rare. Usually it's somebody. And that would be, I mean, guy that could hit it. Joseph Bramlett.
Okay.
So I got that. And then I have a guy who played a decent amount. I got the Max McGreevy. These guys are all the same for me. Like Antoine Rosner, Damon, Dahmen, whatever. Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I don't think we need them, but you know how it goes, right? One of them is
always makes it. Yeah.
One of them is going to be in the winner. You know what I mean? Like, just don't know which one to play.
Yeah. I mean, my strong take, no surprise. And look, if it's the fading the Canadian guys, if people want to do that, go ahead. But like Adam Hadwin is 6,900, and I'm not 100% sure. I've got to double check on this. I'm pretty sure he's played this event. Played this course a number of times. I know he's obviously good friends with Nick Taylor. We saw the celebration where he got crushed by security. Yeah. Taylor won this. Won the event a couple years ago. Not at this course, of course, but so I like that a little bit. Well, not a little bit. I actually have a pretty decent amount of Hadwin, and I don't mind your McGreevy thing, but I kind of like Carson Young. He was another one. I mean, you're just taking shots at this point. I like the Bramlett idea. That one I can talk myself into. It does suit some of the things that we talked about.
How about hottest golfer on the course theory with Brandt Snedeker?
Brandt Snedeker, okay. The superstar from last week.
Yeah, it is.
I think honestly he's projected to be like 1.2% owned right now in SaberSim. I think it would have been 0.2% if not for last week.
Right. I guess
just that Sunday.
He's now chalk. I know.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so just a couple of guys like again that I'll mention is just getting sprinkles of Pavone. Just feels like he could, maybe a little bit better than the rest of these, than a lot of these guys. Takumi Kanaya, we'll see if that works. Hasn't worked yet. No, it worked once. That's not true. It worked once. Luke List. These are just guys I'm getting sprinklings of. Nick Dunlap. that's one that that's tough, but he's looked completely gone. What else was there? Ben Coles. I mean, these are just guys who I'm getting some of. Harry Higgs, at least there's a name we're familiar with and is fun to watch play. Joel Dahman, as you mentioned. And man, some of the bottom of this range are like I haven't seen a tournament where I don't know this many guys. There's a lot of them that I just never heard of. So I'm going to do a little more digging and seeing if I can find anybody else who's played on this course more. But that's sort of what I've got for who I've got in that range. So we are going to go range by range here, Sheets, and we're going to play the game.
Well, we got it right last week. We picked the winner. We picked Scotty Scheffler.
You picked Scheffler, yeah.
Or did you get him last week?
No, I never pick him because I always want to try and be off the board a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, you did get the winner. I did have him in my one and done though.
I'm a genius.
I did have him in the one and done. Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler to win the tournament. That was awesome.
So who's winning this time?
This time? I think I might snipe somebody from you. Yeah, I'm down. I'll say Oberg.
So you're okay. I like that. So you're going to go with Oberg, and I am not going to go with Corey Connors, who I think is the third best Canadian. Well, no, my third favorite Canadian. He's obviously been. The funny part is Corey Connors has been great, and it feels like he just blows it every time. Like I mean, he's just consistently really good. Where it feels like he should always be top 10 because he just hits the ball so well. He just can't putt. All right, Taylor Pendrith is my guy this week.
Taylor Pendrith.
Taylor Pendrith.
Okay. Oh, he's Canadian?
He's Canadian.
Unless
I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
Okay. That sounds good.
I'm going to be bouncing around ranges when I, and obviously, this doesn't mean that Rory's a bad play or anything. We're just going different routes this week.
Who won last year, Taylor or McIntyre? McIntyre?
McIntyre. Okay. Taylor was before, yeah.
Right.
All right. So then we will go down to the 8K range, or no, sorry,
9K.
Under 10K to top 10.
5.
Top 5. Excuse me.
I mean, I'm gonna pick a guy who I don't think has made like. I want to confirm before I say this. This guy hasn't made like top 5 in so long. I don't even know if he's made like top like a zillion in so long. But I'm gonna go Sam Burns.
I love it. I actually really like Sam Burns this week, so I think it's a good call. And definitely I think he'll be able to get around here. I'm going to say Mackenzie Hughes, sticking with my Canadian theme, although with a little shout out to Nick Taylor, also a Canadian theme. So Hughes/Taylor, but it's Hughes is who I'm taking in this game. Even though I actually like, maybe I'm just being a little too off the board. That's who I'm going to play more of at the moment, but probably Nick Taylor might be a little bit of a better bet than him. So one of those two. All right, under 9K to top 10.
Under 9K to top 10. Tough range for me. I really don't want to dip below, so I am going to just give my top projected guy. Boy, this guy can't really make top 10. There's no way. So I will dip below and snipe you, I think.
You gonna take my Kiefer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rio.
Oh, okay. No, you're not sniping me. Okay, that's good. Okay. I do like Satsune though. I am gonna say Nick Taylor because I kept it under 8K, under 9K. So
okay,
Nick Taylor for that one. All right, and I'm just going all Canadians. I don't care. Sheets hates it, and I love to do it. All right, under 8K to top 20.
Under 8K to top 20. So many I could pick.
Yeah, I think there's. I
Well,
think. I
I'm
think
just
you
gonna
might get all of
go.
it.
I'm gonna go with the lowest owned of the guys I like. So I'm gonna go Taylor Moore.
Okay, you're taking the guy I used to play all the time. So I was stuck between two guys who I really like both of them, but it's Kiefer's the one I'm picking. Knapp would be the, I don't know if you want to say more logical, but certainly logical answer as well. All right, under 7K. No, yeah. 7K to make below 7K to make the cut, or best to make the cut, whatever we want to do.
Dude, I think I want to take Kyle Freeland. Look at him. That's
What's
what
is he rolling?
I mean, he's doing Kyle Freeland stuff. I mean, I'm gonna say rolling, but he's got 13.8 fantasy points in 4 innings, probably on 12 total pitches. I don't know. It's like,
nice. All right, love it.
All right, so under 7K to make the cut. Oh, by the way, everybody make sure that you're playing who's in the tournament. There has been some like withdrawals.
There's been like 7 withdrawals, yeah,
and put-ins and stuff like that. Because I know I probably am missing a couple.
I have an alarm set for late tonight because I don't think I want to wake up at 3 in the morning. But that's my
trying
plan.
to think. We should probably add something to the list and have a best name competition. But there's nobody that great this week. I mean, Thomas Rosenmuller would be the one, but I'm going to say, I'm going to go with Matthew Pavone.
Okay, and I am going to stick with my Canadian theme and take Adam Hadwin.
Is Matthew Pavone? He's like sort of Canadian. He's from France, right?
I think that only works the other way around. It's like the French Canadians considered it. Remember the White Lotus? He said his girlfriend was French or whatever, and she's like, I'm from Quebec or whatever.
Right. Yep.
Anyway. All right. Well, there you have it. So oh no, we have to do the 9K to miss the cut.
Yep.
I always forget it, and I almost did again. So Sheets, who's missing the cut at over 9K?
I hate to do this because I usually just take like the lowest projected 9K guy. And yeah, I'm gonna have to do this just to keep it real, as the kids say. And I'm gonna go with Luke Land.
Oh my God. Monster. It's funny because I didn't pick him for any of our games, and he's my highest owned player at the moment.
Right.
Okay, so you're taking Clanton, and
it would either be him or McIntyre if anyone wants to. It would be fair.
I'll say of the guys to make the cut, this guy's either going to be leading after round 1 or he might miss the cut, and I think they're like 50-50. I'm going to say Keith Mitchell.
I love that. I think it's great. I think that's perfect pick, actually.
That is what he does. He's always up by like he's got shoots course record or like.
No, the reason why, by the way, that I don't think that the Clanton's a good play to make is to miss the cut is because let me ask you something. When he won last year, like as an amateur, he didn't get paid, right?
I don't know the deal with that, to be honest with you. And I don't think did he end up winning? I think he just came in second.
Whatever it is. I mean, when you as an amateur, you don't get paid. I think that's the whole point, right?
I don't know for sure.
But that's the case. I mean, if you have like playing like good amateurs to miss the cut's probably not a good idea that in their first start, because I think they want to get paid, right? I mean, like
for what it's worth, I think he's also like take this for good or bad. I think he's playing with Rory and is it Rory and Oberg or it's Rory and somebody else famous?
Yeah. So it's probably not the best, but again, just to say what it is. I mean that is my lowest projected 9K.
So. Okay, sounds good. Mine is Mitchell. So all right, so we're good. So hopefully we can get back to some strong golf stuff. We had a good couple weeks ago. You had a good week last week, and hopefully we can bounce back this week. Guys, I want to remind you, use the code finals2025 for 33% off your first month. We got a lot of great stuff. The partnership with PayDirt has been awesome. We got the Saber Sim stuff, Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, all of my content, Brandon Cruz, etc., Rody's playbook. And let's do it before football season because the prices are probably going to go up at some point. So check it out, and we hope to see you guys as members soon.